What's up, everybody? Good Ass Sports Top 5 Mini-Cast, Episode 1, the mini-podcast we debate controversial top 5 sports topics. I'm joined by two other members of the Good Ass Sports team, Scruff and Jay. Introduce yourself, fellas.
What's going on, people? It's Scruff, a.k.a. Scruff Lion, a.k.a. I hold no opinions back. We here talking about top 5, man. I got a nice little top 5 here, and man, I'm ready to get it going, man. What's up with y'all?
Man, ain't nothing, man. Good Ass Sports member Jay here, ready to get it popping. Shout out to Good Ass Sports blog. Let's get it.
Let's get it. And, of course, I am Bryce, XXVII. Follow me on Twitter. Let's get it started. Oh, and don't forget to follow Good Ass Sports. Follow Good Ass Sports on Twitter for up-to-date content, analysis, debate, podcast, and much more. All right, so today's topic we got for you guys is top 5 NBA teams of the 2000s. We're talking about 2000 to present, so all the way up to 2017 or now 2018. So let's get it. I'll start off with my top 5. So my top 5 NBA teams of the 2000s, I got the 08 Celtics at number 5. I got the 2005 Spurs at number 4. The 2017 Warriors at number 3. The 2013 Big Three of the Miami Heat at number 2. And at number 1, I got the best duo possibly of all time, Kobe, Shaq, 2001 Lakers. Scruff, what yours look like, man?
I mean, it looks pretty similar, just a few spots differently, but I'm starting out at 5. I got the Greg Popovich Spurs team, Tim Duncan and them boys. Number 4, I got the original Big Three, the Boston Celtics, KG, Paul Pierce, you know it. Number 3, I got the dominant Lakers teams, the three-peat, Kobe and Shaq Lakers. And then I got number 2, I have the new Big Three. That's the 2013 Heat, Ray Allen and them boys included. And then number 1, I got the newest dynasty in the NBA, man. I got the 2017 Warriors with Kevin Durant.
All right, I like it. All right, Jay, what yours looking like, man?
All right, number 5, shout out to the 04 Pistons. That's my number 5 team. Number 4, I got the 2008 Celtics, the Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett trio with the young Rajon Rondo. Number 3, I got the 2012-2013 Miami Heat. Shout out to King James. Number 2, I got the 2005 San Antonio Spurs with the original Big Three of Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and Tim Duncan. Number 1, coming in at number 1, I got the 2001 Lakers with the prime Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. And that's rounding out my top 5.
Okay, I like it. All right, so let's get into some debate, fellas. First, let's start at the bottom. I hear 08 Celtics. I hear Celtics being floated around. If you ask me, man, when I think about that team, it's like I want to put them higher, and at the same time, I want to put them lower. It's probably the only team on my list where I say they can compete with that team, but there's also some teams behind them that I feel like would be matchup nightmares. One matchup I think would be like modern day game I would love to see is the 2008 Celtics versus that Pistons team, versus those 04 Pistons. I think that would be a hell of a matchup, man. Where do you guys stand with that? Because it seems like both of those teams made a number 5 spot. What do you guys think about that 08 Celtics team going against that 04 Pistons team?
Hey, well, I'm going to be honest with you. The Pistons did not make my top 5. But no disrespect to that Pistons team, because they had a lot of character. They probably had more character than all these teams in the top 5 just because of the way they were built. But you asked me, you put that team against the 2008 Celtics team, I think they'd give them a run for their money. Ultimately, I just chose to go with the Celtics higher just because of the star power. You know, you got KG, you got Paul Pierce, you got Ray Allen. Just too much star power for that Pistons team, even though, like, they were a team of pretty much guys that were, you know, unheralded around the league and really turned themselves into a mini dynasty there. But I'd have to give the edge to the Celtics if you ask me.
I hear that. I hear that. One of the crazy things about that Pistons team, they're probably the only team on this list that you would say doesn't have a top 10 player. Like, just about every team on this list, you could say there's an obvious top 10 guy of the 2000s. And that Pistons team, man, I can't point to not one guy that I would say this is a top 10 player of the 2000s. Jay, what you think, man? '08 Celtics, '04 Pistons. Who you got winning the 7 games?
7-game series, I think I'd have to go with the Pistons because I think they played more defense, and I think they had more chemistry. But when you look at both teams both made back-to-back finals appearances and both won one and lost one. So, yeah, and Scruff, you can say that they didn't have enough star power, they couldn't beat a team with star power, but if you remember in 2004, they did beat that Lakers team with a prime Kobe and a prime Shaq with a loaded roster with Gary Payton, Karl Malone. Man, that team was loaded. So, yeah, when it comes down to straight team effort, meaning you're only as good as the next person next to you, I have to go with that. I have to go with them. Yeah.
I feel that the sum of their parts were definitely greater than the individuals, man.
Definitely a good point, but I mean, I know the defense was the calling card of that Pistons team, no doubt. You got 2 main defensive stoppers, plus you got Rasheed Wallace, who's not any slouch on defense. But the Celtics had KG. He's one of the best players defensively in NBA history, if you ask me. And then they also had Kendrick Perkins. I'm not saying Kendrick Perkins is going to make anyone's all-star team, but they had a pretty stout defensive lineup. Not to mention Rajon Rondo is excellent defensively as well. So I think that team, not to be discounted for their defense, I think they're just as good defensively as the Pistons.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. That team has some D, but hey, let's not forget, man, that Pistons team had Ben Wallace in his prime. And I don't think Ben Wallace gets enough recognition. Like, I never feel like that man will get his just due. If you ask me, Ben Wallace deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. You talking about a guy that was 6'8", that was holding the paint down. I'm talking about this dude was holding the paint down on a level that there's not one guy in the NBA today that I can point to and say he's a better paint defender than Ben Wallace was. It wasn't no drive. You weren't driving. You weren't dunking. Ben Wallace would block you with his fro before you dunked on him. That man was not letting none of that pop. He wasn't letting none of that pop. And I got tremendous respect for Ben Wallace and that '04 Pistons team. If this was a top 6, they would definitely be my number 16. But
hey, man, I respect that. I respect Ben Wallace. Well, no disrespect to Ben Wallace, but it's like, all right, to me, Hall of Fame. We're talking about the Hall of Fame. He doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. But Hall of Respect, he gets my respect, man. We put him in that hall all day, but he ain't in the Hall of Fame, bro.
Nah, he's a Hall of Famer. He's definitely a Hall of Famer. But that's a different conversation, though. It's a different conversation.
Definitely, but it's relevant. So let's keep it pushing. So we got '08 Celtics, we got '04 Pistons. Let's throw another team into the mix, man. How we feel about? Let's get some new age. Let's get some new age onto it. How would the 2013 Heat fare with these teams in the early 2000s?
Well, go ahead, Scruff.
That's tough, man. I'd give them the edge over. Definitely give them the edge over the 2008 Celtics, just because of LeBron James. And I would give them the edge over the 2003 Spurs, strictly off of a personnel perspective, just because of LeBron James again and Dwayne Wade. But coaching-wise, man, it's hard to count out any Spurs team, because when it really comes down to if you ask who's a better team in history, I'm going to give you the Heat. But if you ask who's going to win a 7-game series, even though I have them ranked as the 5th team, you got Greg Popovich coaching your team. I think Greg Popovich could outcoach the Team USA head-to-head. That's how good of a coach he is. But, yeah, I gotta give the Heat the respect, man. The way that they played, that dominance, that type of team chemistry that they had in such a limited amount of time was incredible. And then you add Ray Allen onto that, who's one of the best shooters in the NBA history. Man, that was a scary team, man. That was really a scary team. I'll never forget that corner shot by Ray Allen, man. That one goes in the history books forever.
Oh, for sure.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to say the 2013 Heat team had great chemistry. I just think it was a lot of heroic performances. But, yeah, if the 2013 Heat were to match up with, like, say, the San Antonio Spurs of this 2005, who I had in my number 2, yeah, I'd have to go with the 2005 Spurs just for the simple fact they had defenders on the perimeter that are going to give Dwayne Wade and LeBron James a hard time, a very hard time. And definitely back then when the game, it depends what rules, because the game was a little more physical. You could get away with a little more back then. But now I would still have to give the edge to the 2005 Spurs just because when you look around the board, they had post player, they had perimeter defenders, they had shooting, they had penetrators and a prime Tony Parker who could get to the rack on anybody with his quickness. And they had Manu Ginobili off the bench, or prime Manu Ginobili. Yeah, I just have to. And with Greg Popovich, arguably one of the best coaches of all time in the NBA. Yeah, I just got to go with that 2005 Spurs team. That was a gritty team, very gritty team.
Yeah, nah, that's for sure. That's for sure. I mean, hey, man, look, whenever you talk about Tim Duncan in his prime, I mean, I think that especially with some of the younger generation, they'll never be able to understand or appreciate Tim Duncan the way I feel like I was able to. Because, I mean, obviously the Tim Duncan that they saw wasn't the same Tim Duncan that we saw. But, man, you're talking about Tim Duncan still in his prime, man. This dude was unguardable, the best defender on the floor everywhere he stepped. And literally, they don't call him the big fundamental for no reason. Like, I mean, I actually was watching a little clip the other day of, do you guys remember the game where Tim Duncan hit that fucking shot from the elbow? And I want to say he banked that jump. I want to say Tim Duncan banked the shot from the elbow, and they left 24 seconds left for the Lakers, and D. Fish came and slang one from his shoulder and knocked that joint and ran out the stadium. The whole Lakers ran out the stadium. Y'all remember that game?
Yeah.
I mean, although they lost that game, like that just shows you the type of baller Tim Duncan was, man. 1 second left. You got a 7-footer that can hit you a jumper with 1 second left and nail it. You know what I mean? Although they went on to lose, that was just, I don't know, that kind of just represented Tim Duncan to me. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, man. That's a tough matchup right there. That 05 Spurs team, they can definitely compete with every team we have on this list for sure. So I don't know. So that 05 Spurs, 2013 Heat versus the 2017 Warriors. Let's keep it new school, man. So we got the Heat, we got the big three, the dawn of the big three, LBJ, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh. What do you guys think? What do you guys think this current Warriors team? Not the Warriors team that faced them. That's not the two teams that faced off, but this 2017 Warriors versus that 2013 Heat with everybody in their prime. How do y'all see that going?
Man, if you ask me, I'll say that the Warriors, I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but I personally think that the Warriors team that was built in 2017, obviously they were a great team before they got KD. You add KD to that team, I think they're the best team in the 2000s, head and shoulders above everybody else. And I may even go as far as to say that the Warriors 2017 team is the best team ever in the history of the NBA.
We need a hot take button, man. We need a hot take button. I can just press it and it goes, hot take, hot take, hot take.
Stuck in the moment.
Best team ever, bro. I'm just going to say it right now, man. Things get better with time, and the Warriors clearly proved that they only could get better, man. They had an outstanding team, and then you add Kevin Durant to that team. That's like, come on, man. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. That's like when Randy Moss was on the Vikings. I mean, not the Vikings. When he was on the Patriots. Like, you got that? Come on, bro. They didn't win nothing, though. But, I mean, that's a bad example. But you know what I'm saying.
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. And I honestly was against you until you made one point. You made the point where how could that Warriors team have gotten any better? And they managed to get even better. Because, like, honestly, what was that? The 2015 Warriors that won their championship? That was a great team, man. And, like,
it's the best record in the history of the NBA during the regular season.
Right. And to think that they became an even better team after that season, that's kind of ridiculous to think about. And when you make a point like that, I see where you're going. But, Jared, what do you think, man? What do you think about them Warriors? You can compare them to the 2013 Heat, 05 Spurs. Where do you stand on that 2017 Warriors squad?
If they would fare against the 2013 Heat, I would definitely give them a shot. I would definitely give the Heat are definitely a good shot. I mean, a prime LeBron James. Let's be honest. LeBron James, he's still in his prime right now, but it's closer to the end than it is the beginning. So I think a 2013 LeBron James, I think Scruff is clearly sleeping on a 2013 LeBron James, who in his prime could definitely give Kevin Durant more problems than he can in today's NBA game. Like back then, LeBron James can give Kevin Durant a go on both ends of the floor. Now, it's just a totally different matchup. But what was it? 5 years ago, it was he could definitely give him a shot. And then you got Dwayne Wade. You throw Dwayne Wade on Klay Thompson, and then you pretty much throwing Chris Bosh on Draymond Green. Yeah, I think I could see the Heat winning that 7-game series easily. I think they could. I think they could win it.
No disrespect to LeBron James, who's since the 2000s. That's a different top 5. But I'll tell you what, no disrespect to LeBron James, and I'll tell you why. Because I got the number 2 on my list, above those Lakers teams, above everybody else except the Warriors. And I'll tell you why I gave the Warriors the edge ultimately. Because it sounds good. That lineup sounds good. The defensive matchup sounds good when you're only naming 3 guys. It's easy to sound good when you have the 3 best players on the planet at the time, pretty much. But the reason I gave the edge to the Warriors team is because they're extremely deep. Man, you got a guy like Andre Iguodala, who I'm a Sixers fan. To be honest with you, this guy was our franchise player. He's a 6th man on their team. 6th man. Not even the 6th man anymore. He's probably like the 8th guy, the 3rd, 4th guy off the bench. They got him. You had David West to that mix. I mean, this guy was definitely not, you got JaVale McGee balling out for them. Like, come on, man. Shaun Livingston. So many great stories on that team and so much great talent on that team. And that Heat team, as good as they were, I can't really say that they had a bench that was good. They didn't have a good bench. They had great starters, but bench-wise, that Warriors team is deep on their bench, just as deep as they are in their starting lineup. And ultimately, that's why I gave them the edge.
I mean, I definitely have to agree with you that Warriors team is deep. But I mean, one thing that
I'm not going to
Warriors
bring up JaVale McGee in the argument, though.
Who cares? But one thing about that, one thing that Warriors team never had to contend with and I don't think they've ever had to contend with this their entire run since they started being a great team, was an elite defender. And I know one thing for sure: Shaquille O'Neal in the post with Kobe Bryant on the perimeter. I don't know what that Warriors team could do with those 2001 Lakers. And that's my top team on my top 5 is the 01 Lakers. Just because I think in every way, and with every other team on my top 5, the 01 Lakers match up good in every way. Like, they've got a matchup for every bright spot on each of those teams. They've got a matchup to shut you down. What y'all think about the 01? I think this would be this would be like the history books right here, one for the history books. The 01 Lakers versus the 2017 Warriors. I feel like that would be maybe like the best series out of like all the teams we could pick. Maybe besides the 2013 Heat versus 2017 Warriors. But that 01 Lakers team versus the 2017 Warriors, man, I would love to see that because like that's 2 generations battling it out. That's an old way of basketball going against a new way of basketball. What y'all think about that? Who do y'all think would come out on top? Obviously, I think the 01 Lakers would come out on top. What y'all think about that?
Man, I got the 01 Lakers, man, because in my opinion, that's one of the best. That's the second best duo to ever play together is Kobe and Shaq. And the little man, big man, that was like the staple back then. That was the great combination of players, the shooting guard with the big man. And Shaq was the most dominant player, just pure dominance. He was the most dominant player I'd ever seen. And there's nobody. Who are you going to put on Shaq? Draymond Green? Shaq is dunking on Draymond Green every time down the floor easily. And Kobe Bryant in his prime too, man. Not the late Kobe Bryant. This is the young fro Kobe Bryant. Man, he's averaging 30 in the finals easily. When you have 2 players averaging almost 30 in the finals, it's just like you don't know who to stop. And I think defensively, Kobe Bryant is definitely one of the greatest defenders to ever play. So I could throw him on Steph Curry. I could throw him on Klay. Or I could throw Robert Horry on Klay. I could throw Robert Horry on Durant. So, yeah, it's great matchup right there. Great matchup. And the experience is already there. They had already won a championship. Yeah, just should be a great matchup. Great matchup.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one, man. I had a hard time with this one. I mean, I definitely rank the Warriors higher than the Lakers just for this reason that, yeah, I mean, you got Kobe and you got Shaq, and you got two of the most dominant players in that era. So you said, Jared said 2 30-point scorers. But with the Warriors, you got 4 30-point scorers on that roster, not to mention a roster full of teams that can give you at least 10 points. You do not have 4
30-point scorers. You do not have 4 30-point scorers on that roster. But go ahead. Come on, man.
4 20-point scorers, and at least 3 of them that can score 30. So, I mean, we're talking about Klay Thompson. We're talking about Klay Thompson right here, who doesn't get enough credit. Put him on another team, and he's probably dropping over 30 a game. And you got Steph Curry, who's pretty much unguardable at the point guard position as far as shoot it off the dribble, off a screen. And then you got Kevin Durant, who's literally 7 feet tall, but shoots better than anyone in the NBA and has ball handling skills. And then you got a tough guy like Draymond Green. You got the grit down there. You got that Dennis Rodman feel. You got that all-around just going to grind it out and dive for every loose ball and just get underneath everyone's skin. You know what I mean? I love that about him, man. I mean, the only big question mark I have with that matchup is Shaq, man. How do you guard Shaq? But, I mean, shoot, man. You do a hack of Shaq, man, I think we'd be in business. I don't think the Warriors is missing any free throws. So,
yeah, but see, you're thinking about more of just in a game in the playoffs, in a game 6 or a game 7, when them legs are tired and them 3-point shots aren't falling like you think they are, and the game slows down and palms get sweaty and knees are aching. It's just not as easy as just a regular season game where you can go out and drop 10 to 15 threes. It's a totally different game. So when that half court slows down and you need someone to go get a bucket, it's just a totally different game. It's just a totally different game.
I definitely agree with that. It becomes a totally different game, but I think what that game would come down to is who could establish their style of play first. Because as we've seen with this new style of play, this fun and gun, get as many threes up as possible and you know, like get on to the next possession, we've seen it win a championship, and we've seen it be able to work in crunch time. Now, the question is, with a team that's dedicated to slowing the ball down, pounding the rock inside, would they be able to offset that fun and gun style? And I think that's the one thing that we'll never be able to truly know, but it would be great to actually get some sort of real life simulation on that. Maybe we do that on the 2K, man. I'll bust one of y'all in 2K with the 01 Lakers, man. Y'all would like that. Y'all used to that.
Yeah, but the thing with the run and gun, we've seen the run and gun been taken when the Cavaliers played the Warriors in the finals in 2016. We saw the run and gun go in Game 6 and Game 7, and it was the Warriors weren't playing the same style. It was a totally different game, albeit without Kevin Durant, but it's still the same style of play, and those long bomb threes stopped falling. So,
I mean, I can't say that. It's hard for me to give that because there were so many injuries in that series.
It's going to be injuries. That's a part of the game, though. It's going to be. I can just go off what it is.
When you talking about key guys missing.
When you play over, I mean, everybody's going to be hurt. If you play over 100 basketball games in a season, at the end of the season, everybody's going to be nicked up. So.
Yeah, who were the Warriors missing in that 2016 series?
Yeah, I said albeit without Kevin Durant. I said that.
2016 Warriors were without Draymond.
He wasn't even on the team yet. I mean, who was?
They were without Draymond in those key games.
Draymond, that's who it was.
He missed one game. He missed a game.
Yeah, Draymond.
So who's to say he wouldn't miss a game against the 01 Lakers? So, hey, it's all about keeping your head. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess now we throwing in a lot of factors that would decide the game, but at the end of the day, if both teams are completely healthy, that's kind of how we got to examine it for the sake of the argument. And I think that if both teams are fully healthy, I mean, I see the game going to a Game 7 down to the last couple possessions, no matter what. Because both these teams are just too good to lose 4. Honestly, both these teams are too good to lose 4. But someone would have to. I'd have to give the edge to Kobe, man. That Mamba, that black Mamba, just a little too deadly when the lights get the brightest.
That he is. He is one deadly deadly, deadly, deadly shooter at the end of the games, man. But man, I gotta give it to the law of averages, man. You give me four of the best, you give me three of the best shooters in the NBA. I'll take 3 versus 1 any day, any day. I'll take the 3 versus the 1. I'll take them, and I'll take the deeper bench. I'll take the deeper bench too.
Oh, they didn't have a deeper bench than the 01 Lakers. That's not what they had. They did not have that.
That's debatable. That's a big time debate.
I got Horace Grant, Ron Harper. Derek Fisher started some games, but for the most part, he was coming off the bench. Robert Horry, Rick Fox. I can't say that Warriors team is deeper than the 01 Lakers. I just can't. I can't do it. Can't do it. Nah, it's not.
Robert
Nah.
Horry didn't start for them? Pretty sure he started.
I would say that the Warriors had the best guy coming off the bench out of both teams. I would also say, I mean, with benches, especially the Warriors bench, their bench is kind of a every bench player they've got the defined role. You know what I mean? And I feel like the Lakers bench players are more all around guys. You know what I mean? You got guys that can come in the game and do a lot of different things. With the Warriors guys, like for example, even the way they run today. I mean, you got Sean Livingston coming off the bench. He's going to give you one thing. He's going to give you defense, and he's going to give you that back down, turnaround jumper. You got JaVale McGee. He's coming in the game for one thing. But if you look at that Lakers bench, you had versatility. I mean, you had Robert Horry. He wasn't just coming in to shoot the clutch 3. He was coming in to D up the best player on the other team most of the times. You know what I mean? You had Horace Grant. He wasn't just coming in to hit his mid-range jumper. He was coming in to be the muscle, to be the attitude for that team that was lacking it without him. So I mean, you had it's an interesting comparison of benches. It's an interesting comparison overall. I do think that would be the best matchup of all the teams that we stated. Now, for the sake of the top 5, let's get some consensus teams that we can go forward and say these teams are definitely the best teams of the 2000s. 2 consensus teams we got so far are the 2001 Lakers and the 2017 Warriors. And this is in no order, but is there any other teams we can throw in there for the consensus?
I'm pretty sure we all had the Celtics, right?
We all had the 08 Celtics, so we're going to throw them in there. So we got the 2001 Lakers, the 2017 Warriors, the 2008 Celtics, the 2005 Spurs we all had, and we also all had the 2013 Heat, or we all had a variation of that Heat team. So I mean, there are top 5 teams of the 2000s, good ass sports, top 5 teams of the 2000s, and yeah, man, I like it. I think those are the best 5 teams of the 2000s right there, in no specific order.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, as long you got to have a version of them Spurs, because yeah, they ran the 2000s, and man, the Lakers got to have them up there. Got to have a variation of the Heat, and got to have the Warriors too. So yeah, I agree. And that 08 Celtics, man, changed the landscape of the NBA, man. Everybody started joining up right after that. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, good ass sports, man. Top 5 podcasts. Hey, man, please be on the lookout for more content. Check out our website, goodasssportsblog.com. We've got giveaways coming. We've got polls coming, interactive polls where you can win something by just participating in the poll. So please be on the lookout. We're going to come to you guys with more and more content by the week, damn near by the minute. Enjoy this journey we're on, because we're more than glad to give it to you. This is all for the culture. Good ass sports. Bryce here for Scruff and for Jay. We signing out. Good ass sports. Sports for the culture.